Hey everybody, just wanted to jump on here and go over some more verses today. We're going to be reading out of Matthew 5:17 through 20. This is Jesus talking. Don't think that I came to abolish the law or the prophets. I did not come to abolish but to fulfill. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter or one stroke of a letter will pass away from the law until all things are accomplished. Therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commands and teaches others to do the same will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness surpasses that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will never get into the kingdom of heaven. Jesus says very clearly that the law has not gone away. Now, what the law is a set of rules and regulations that God's people are supposed to live by, right? God gave them right out of their enslavement in Egypt the law, how they were to be God's people, and how were they to be a people with God in their camp. How can an unholy people be with a holy and just God? By the law. Well, there's a problem because me and you can't fulfill the law. And Jesus came because of that. See, if we try to do the law, it just shows that we can't fulfill it. We can't do all the things in order to gain righteousness. But Jesus lived it out for us. That's why he came, not to get rid of the law. The law still has its place and still matters. A lot of times when people become believers, they think, oh, well, I'm a New Testament believer and the law, it doesn't matter. Well, the reality is that Jesus didn't abolish the law, but he came to fulfill it so that we could have righteousness. Because unless our righteousness was better than the religious elite, right? Um, Even their righteousness and their doing of the law was not enough to get into heaven. So Jesus reminds us that he fulfilled the law for us, and so that we can have righteousness. All goes back to the concept in Jeremiah where it talks about Yahweh our righteousness. That has been the plan since the beginning. The law never made anyone clean. It just showed and pointed to the reality of a need for a Savior. That we needed somebody to take on that law, to fulfill it for us, because we couldn't do it. Because guess what? Every year we had to sacrifice because of sin. And every time we just keep on sinning, and goats and rams and all these things do not gain someone's salvation. Only the blood of an all sufficient sacrifice. And that's Jesus. And so, as we're reminded about that Jesus is the fulfillment of the law, and we should strive to be like Jesus. That doesn't mean that we disregard the law. No, Jesus talks very clearly about how we're supposed to live. Right before this, as salt and light, doing good works so that it points to God the Father. But we got to remember that we don't gain righteousness by ourselves and through our works. It is through Jesus and his perfection.